Thank you, everybody. Wow. Tonight, guys, I'm going to share my criminal background. Yeah, and that's actually the first time that I share this story in front of an audience. Never thought I would share it as a public speaker, because I wasn't really proud of it, but it was actually my biggest lesson. So I'm a confidence coach, right? So I help people recognize their shadow and master them in order to take decision and action with confidence and be who they want to be where they want to be. So I encourage them to take act of courage and confidence every day. And I guess this is mine. Today, my act of courage is sharing a story of a 14-year-old girl, and the biggest mistake, and surely the best one I ever done, because I've learned a lot from that. So, okay, basically, well, Shai already said I also have a background in performing art, and either as a speaker or as an actress, for me, being on a stage is about being authentic. Because at the end of the day, you can embody a part, a costume, but the connection that you create with the audience is the result of your authenticity. And in order to connect, you need to have the courage to be seen. And not just when you are at your best shape, with your best dress, or when you have your best ideas. So, I got emotional. Okay, so feeling, acting, and being confident. And this is how I turn my shame into courage and confidence. So when we are 14 years old, our deepest fear is disconnection, inadequacy. Do you agree with me? Yeah? So and we usually tend to respond to it either by overdoing or hiding in shyness. I was definitely the first type, like overdoing, very extroverted, and so basically I was 14 years old, coming from this nice neighborhood, a small, very provincial town in Italy, and I just want to be as everybody else. And my parents were a bit strict, so like no fancy dresses, no makeup, no late nights. And okay, funny enough, but the coolest things you could have as a girl in town at that time was this sort of motorbike, literally a bike with an engine called the Mosquitoes, and is almost embarrassing, stealing something that doesn't run more than 35 miles per hour, but hey, was the trend. And my best friend Lucia, because this is the story of Lucia and Lucia, because this is the story of two friends with the same name, did the same mistake and took very different paths. It's also the story of the Lucia I was before that and afterward. So at that time, my best friend has a bike that was the same brand of the Mosquito, and she once told me that the keys were exactly the same. We didn't say a word, and one day we just did it. We tried to unlock one of those Mosquitoes. Not the first one, the second one. Seriously, the second one opened. And we actually didn't even plan what we would have done if it opens. And we just started that adventure as thieves, and we went for a ride. And actually, it was fun. It felt liberating. It felt cool. We were like feeling belongings, like everybody. And after an hour, I dropped her home, and because she lived nearby. And I was supposed to leave the Mosquito somewhere to be found. I didn't plan really to crash just around the corner. Not deliberately. I mean, I took the risk because I could have done anything else that Sunday afternoon, but I decided to take something that wasn't mine. I decided to ride it. I decided to take it one way. And crash. So I don't know what hurt the most, if the accident, if the face of my parents when they came to the hospital and saw me and met the police, or facing the society. But my parents eventually turned out to be my best supporter after telling me I deeply disappointed them, I did wrong, and that I was going to repay every cent. They also told me that they would be there for me, because the real punishment was outside, and it was true. And indeed, I just wanted to disappear. I still remember with the collar, the crunches, begging my parents please to move town because I couldn't bear the pressure. But it took me a night just to realize that that wasn't going to happen. We were not going to move city, and there was no one that could fix it but me. So I was given a few days recovery from the hospital. But I decided to go to school the day after and face it straight away. Yes, because I knew that was the challenge. Face all the people talking, asking, talking behind, staring, humiliating. And of course, because I couldn't just steal the motorbike of some anonymous girl from the countryside. No, I had to steal the motorbike of the most popular girl of the campus. So everybody knew. The day after, everybody knew. But that taught me something, that we can respond to things in very different ways. And that's about my friend Lucia, who also was involved eventually, and she hated me. She initially denied everything, she ignored me, she beat me up. But that was her journey. Her shame turned into anger, and she took a very different path. She got into bad companies, drugs. So I started questioning myself, who am I? I mean, I know I did something bad, stupid, that became bigger than me at some point, but I knew I was more than that. And that's why I went back to school. I took ownership, responsibilities, and I faced the consequences. And that's the emotional exposure. That is also the biggest lesson that I've learned within the acting training. Face the stage is facing the emotional exposure. Just make it your strength and connect to people. So that's what I did. I took the ownership. And at the end of the day, the important things, guys, is that you're not afraid of being who you really are. And you don't let those shadows limiting your decision and your performance. Because that affect your presence. And also the ability to impact in the world with a positive change. Confidence, I believe, is embracing your greatness together with your vulnerability and imperfection. You cannot really just select it. So, self-confidence is believing in your ability, right? But you also need to believe in who you are. That's self-esteem, and sometimes we confuse them. The difference is very subtle, but we need to believe in who we are in order to believe in our abilities and combine this and just be out there fully wholehearted. So with this story as me facing my shame, let it go, because I'm not it. What I did doesn't define me. We are not our action. Well, our consistent action become habits, and we can become those habits. But it's also true that I had a chance, and it was to shape my path from that moment onwards, yes, and just change that perception. I worked real hard to change that perception, but eventually I became that stronger person. So it would be great if you can think tonight of something that you felt ashamed about, but you actually learned a lot and made you the person you are today. And just feel and nurture that sense of worthiness. Practice a little act of courage every day and just be. So my motto is feel, act, be confident. And if you have the courage tonight and you want to share with someone, I'm sure that we all are very open, because I'm feeling like you're, thank you so much for embracing this and letting me share something that has been really, really important for my personal growth. So thank you so much, and be act and be confident. Thank you.